Hey, co-reporters, welcome back to my channel. I have been thinking a bit more about the relationship between Kenneth and Brittany and how it ultimately wound up falling apart. And then I kind of noticed something. In the comments section, you guys kept saying that you felt as though the reason why Kenneth checked out of his relationship with Brittany was because of AD. When all the couples got to meet each other, AD and Kenneth had a conversation about race, and she asked Kenneth if he really felt as though Brittany was capable of raising Black children. She didn't accuse Brittany of not being capable or anything like that. She just asked Kenneth, like, this is an important part of life and, potentially a future with this woman. Can you be confident that she is capable of raising Black children? And so, listen, maybe you guys are right that is what got Kenneth's gears turning, because up until this point, Kenneth had never dated interracially. He had always been dating exclusively Black women. So maybe he thought that wasn't the case, that Brittany might not be capable of raising Black children. And if that's the case, then where is the issue in him dumping her? Yes, did he go about it in a terrible way by just ignoring her and stonewalling her and then kind of, essentially gaslighting her or manipulating her? Absolutely. But if he really feels like she is not there and she's not ready and she's not up to par for that task when it comes to his children, I think that was the wisest move to make. And here's another thing. I feel like maybe perhaps after that conversation, he took a closer look at Brittany. And this is something that I mentioned in one of my Love is Blind recaps. I said that I find it aggravating that Brittany is not capable of calling Black people Black. She's always saying that Black people identify as Black when that's not the case. Black people are simply Black. Kenneth is Black. AD is Black. Clay is Black. What is so difficult about saying that? I really don't understand. It rolls off the tongue just as easy as it is to say that Jeremy's white. Laura is white. Who else is out here? Chelsea is white, Jimmy's white. These are just material facts. And so maybe he felt like this girl can't even say Black without shaking and being afraid. So how would she be able to raise Black children? How would she be able to raise biracial children? She is not ready to have conversations. She's uncomfortable surrounding race. So why should I trust this woman with my kids? And I think that is a very fair perspective to have. This is something that pisses me off a lot here in France. There's like this thing, I don't know if you guys have heard about it, but in France, they don't call Black people here noir. Noir is the word for Black in French, but instead they will be speaking in a phrase, in French, and all of a sudden when they're talking about Black people, they'll switch to English for this word. They're like, blah, 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 blah. And instead of saying, il était noir or elle était noire, they'll be like, oh, il était Black, elle était Black. And it sounds so ugly and it's so weird. And Black people here, myself included, do not like that. It's always, why can't you just say noir? Noir means Black in French. Why can't you say it? Why do you have to switch to another language? Why are Black people being excluded from the French language, essentially? It's weird. And then white people will tell you, oh, it's because we're not racist. It makes us uncomfortable to call you noir. So we're not going to call you the word or whatever that you are. So we're going to call you Black instead. And it's just so weird because Black people are here telling you, don't do that. Call me noir. Je suis noir, and then white people are like, no, I can't do that to you. That's racist. It's just this weird thing where you're like, absolutely not. Like, so for example, myself here in France, I would not be able to be in a relationship with someone who refers to Black people as Black versus noir. You know what I mean? Like, it's just weird. Not the sentiment, but like just the way that some people are so weird and like tiptoey and like shook about simple material realities and facts surrounding race, So I get Kenneth, actually. Upon further inspection, I do get it. But again, I don't think that he went about it in the right way. And now a lot of you guys did say that AD ruined their relationship, or you felt like it wasn't her place, this, that, and the other. I did say that as well in my recap about that episode. I think it was episode 5 or something. I said the same thing. I said, AD, this is not your business. This is between Kenneth and Brittany. You don't even know if they want to have kids or anything like that. You don't even know Kenneth from a can of paint, just like you barely know Brittany, right? So why get into that level of things in someone else's relationship? I do think it was inappropriate of her to ask that question, But at the same time, I don't think it's a terrible question. I think it is a fair question that I would have preferred to see a family member of Kenneth ask, or an actual friend of Kenneth ask. But yeah, that's the situation nonetheless. I do wonder if, perhaps this perspective that I'm sharing has altered you guys' perspective about this situation. You, regardless of what color you are, if you are Black, would you be comfortable having kids with someone who is so scared of even like identifying someone as Black? They're saying that or calling you Black. Sorry. They're saying that you identify as Black. No, I'm just Black. Would you be happy? If you were Asian, would you be with someone who tiptoes around the word Asian? Would you be with someone who tiptoes around the word Latino, Latina? Would you be with someone who tiptoes around the word white and is too scared to talk about race and stuff? And you're considering having biracial children and whatnot? You got to be careful, you guys. You got to be careful. The amount of stories I hear of biracial children who grew up with white moms and have been traumatized by that experience, like, you really do have to be careful, you guys. So if that is the basis of Kenneth's decision, I completely understand. And I think it is a 1000% valid reason to leave somebody. But I do also want to stress that he could have done it in a much more mature and communicative fashion. You don't just ignore your fiance and hang around on your phone all day long. You don't just abruptly leave her and claim that you've been trying and you've been so affectionate, but she's just not seeing it, even though you have done nothing of the sort. You have not really kissed that girl. You've never even made out with that girl since your engagement, since you met. That type of stuff I don't really agree with. Anyway, let me know what you think about all this, and definitely make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. That's all for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.